Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. All things Middle Earth here with the video talking about the 2.0 version, the pre-registration, and some more general thoughts about PvE in general. I've been pretty reserved thus far and tried to understand more of the reasons why things are happening or be more level-headed about it, because I do think there's a level of non-helpfulness when we're just like saying that we hate it, it's garbage. I've been one to kind of encourage people like to give more specific feedback. What don't you like? Why don't you like it? So hopefully the devs have plenty of feedback. But some more time has passed. I've not really seen anything. So I want to talk through my thoughts right now and the things we know. And let me know what you guys think down below. And again, I'm hoping that there are more things that change. I'm hoping we get more communication, but we just aren't getting a whole lot for such a major change. So anyway, let's go ahead and talk about this. Now, to preface what we say today, I have been very much in the mindset that Rise Tour is a business. I hope everyone understands that. At the end of the day, it's a game. We love it, but it is a business and it needs to make money to keep being profitable. That's just how the world works. You can like it or dislike it, but that's just a reality of how the world works. So when we're looking at major changes, instead of kind of freaking out at first, which, you know, as a general statement, I'm pretty much unhappy with almost every single change that's coming to the game, or at least the first, iterations of them. But it is a business, and so I'm trying to think through, okay, if it's a business, there's a reason these things are happening. Trying to understand those so we can hopefully have more understanding, and then hopefully meet in the middle. So that's kind of been the mindset I've been in. Whether you agree with that or not, that's where I have been at. Is just it is a business, and so if there are major changes coming, it's because they needed to happen on some level, or something needed to happen on some level. Not necessarily these, but they felt like this was a needed change. So that's kind of where I've been. I had an interview, I talked with someone on their kind of community management team who's on staff at NetEase, talking through my thoughts on 2.0 and all that stuff and PvE and how it's been executed, and didn't get a lot of extra feedback, but really felt good after it because it felt like they were taking a lot of time to gather feedback. And there have been a lot of people who have said they just don't care about us anymore. That they're throwing this player base away. There's all kinds of things being said. But again, my reality that I've been in has just been, if they didn't care, they wouldn't waste time collecting feedback. So I think there is some truth in that, where if, they're collecting it for a reason, because again, if they didn't care, they just wouldn't be. So that's kind of been the mindset I've been in, is this is a business. It's trying to do what it needs to do as a business, and they're collecting feedback. So hopefully that's a good sign. But more time has passed and nothing has really changed or been announced. The big thing I want to say first, well, I've said a bunch of things, but for those who are curious, we don't have a specific date yet for 2.0, to my knowledge, as of recording this. They did say that it was going to be after PvE finished at one point. PvE, as of this video, as of this date, which is the 2nd of October, has 29 days left in the PvE test server. So it's going to be at least that many days until the test server is done, and then they'll probably compile more things and figure out what to do next. So there's at least 29 days. If you're wondering how long, because I get asked that like a couple times a stream. When is PvE happening? What are your thoughts on PvE? And I'm just all over the place. So I'm trying to get some of them out now, but this is more of a rant because I'm just not, I'm bummed. I guess I'm bummed because I kind of held out some expectations that maybe they would communicate a little bit better or try and make things right, and kind of like honor the player base a little bit who has supported the game thus far. And I'm just not seeing it yet. So I hope to be proven wrong, but I'm very much not happy with it. So with that, maybe a month plus is the timeline we're looking at. Again, they could definitely have more time to like get it ready. So for those of you in servers, maybe you can get in one more. No, I don't know what, when they're going to start shutting down servers or anything like that, but I'd say at least a month to be safe. If you're in bag in now and there are campaigns opening and you like the game the way it is now, I'd say get at least one more good campaign in. That's what, my group is doing, and I'm very happy about it. But they did release this pre-registration notice, and I just have to kind of dog on this a little bit because I think it is kind of ridiculous that they are putting out a pre-registration for 2.0 saying make every commander great again, which I just really, there's a lot that we said there, but they're kind of leaning into this 2.0 thing, and they've done there are rewards as you go along. Now, I am not a marketing genius, but if I was releasing an update to a product that I had out there and it was so negatively received, putting a pre-registration out with these different thresholds and the top prize being 800 gems, which is equivalent to 2 Mathoms, by the way, seems like a slap in the face. So I'm not sure if it's just going out to the current player base or who is all seeing this. I don't know if this includes like players like from China that are going to be able to play the game. So I'm not sure, but if I was like forcing this update on people and people hated it, I would at least make the pre-registration stuff decent so they can go, hey, you know what? They gave out 20 math. It's like something that would not affect the game, something that would not change things, but would maybe make people like see that you're at least trying to like give them some things. So I just, whoever came up with this, I'm sorry. I just think this is embarrassing that they would put out such low rewards. I would just not do the reward thing. I think it's silly. So I think just they've just done things that make them look worse, and this is one of them, the pre-registration with the really horrible rewards. Because again, most people don't want to do it. Some people are on the fence. I'm in the camp. I'll talk about more in a second. I'm in the camp where I'm going to give it a try, but this just doesn't help at all, and it's embarrassing, quite frankly. Now, speaking of what I'm going to do, because a lot of people have asked me what am I going to do, what are my thoughts on it. Frankly, I have spent too much time and too much money on the Rise to War to not give 2.0 a shot. Now, that does not mean I'm just going to play and just kind of all of a sudden be like, I love 2.0, it's great. That's not the case at all. You're not going to see that from me. I'm going to be honest, like I always have been, about my thoughts on it and on it as a game. And, you know, if after we play for a while with our team, we start to like it, or we figure things out, or we figure out how to enjoy it, there's a very good chance I could be covering it. But if it's handled the same way that this whole process has been handled, and there's no communication and things are just not good, whatever it is, if we're not happy with it, then I won't be playing. But I'm not going to just throw it away before it even comes out and tries it. I think that would be silly, and I would kind of urge everyone, just for your own time and your own money's sake or whatever, if you've invested in this game in any capacity, I would at least try and give it a try. Again, I think the teams in this game are what make and break it, so I'm very happy to say I think a lot of my team is going to give it a try. So I'll be going in with people that I know and that I like to play with, so that's going to help a lot. But again, I would just say, if you're on the fence, give it a try, hopefully with a team, and go from there and make your decision. But I would hate to see players who love this game leave before the update is even out. So that's what I'm doing, and I would encourage the same if you're willing to do so. But again, it's pretty frustrating. So I get where people are coming from. And again, there's so much more that could be done in this process that hasn't been, which we'll talk about next. But I get it if you're frustrated, but I'm going to be giving it a try. Now, kind of lastly, again, this is kind of this is just random rants all over the place, so bear with me here. The last thing I wanted to talk about is what I wanted from the devs, or what I'd still like, but I think it's too little too late. And this is what I talked about a lot on the call that I was on, was just basically I was very honest, and I said, listen, I think the execution of PvE of 2.0 has been absolutely botched. People are upset. This was not rolled out in a good way, and it was not communicated about in a good way. So the thing that I said that I think would have helped the most was to do a video with Jared or whoever, or at least a very like simplified but like detailed post, because my issue with their text posts is it seems like there's a lot of words and it's kind of confusing. I think the videos are better, just to make sure everyone understands. And I was just like, look, if this has to happen from a business standpoint, if there are reasons behind why you guys are doing these things, you need to share those to the player base, because I think if you're honest with people, they're willing to give things a try more, or kind of like talk through things. But there has been no real communication on why things are changing. We can only speculate about how the game's doing, how much money the game is making, that kind of stuff. But we've not had communication from the devs confirming really any reasons why. It's just, this is the new change, this is what we're doing. So I talked about it. It's been several weeks now in my interview, and said, look, we need communication, like very clear communication on these things. And we need to kind of like clean up whatever mess we can with this PvE 2.0. And again, the only thing that's gone out since then has been this 2.0 registration post. There has not been another Beacon of Light, the developer Q&A. There was one on the 13th, so more than 2 weeks ago. The communication is kind of all but stopped. And again, it's not one of those things that like if the devs stop talking about it, it's going to get better. People are just going to stay unhappy. So I'm pretty disappointed thus far, because I feel like communication could have at least stepped this a little bit more forward if they had been honest with the player base. And for example, said, hey, what we're doing right now is not sustainable. Like, this game will not be around in a year's time if we keep things up this way. Again, I don't know what the numbers are. Bear with me, I'm being hypothetical here. But if they came out and said that, and said, so we're changing these things to kind of meet these certain criteria we think are going to help the game succeed so we can all enjoy it for years to come or whatever, and then walk through that with us, I think people would be more willing to like have a little bit of a different mindset if they know the Rise to War we're fighting for is not sustainable. Because again, people are upset and want to refund their accounts because of PvE. But what happens in a year if, in this situation, the game just dies? because it's like you can refund it because of PvE, or you can play it for a little bit longer and then it'll die. And there might be some people who are like, you know what, I'd rather it die. And maybe that's you, but to me, that's a lose-lose. If the game dies, I'm not playing it, that's a lose. And if it changes so much it's not the same game, that's a lose. So try to communicate to them, kind of ask for those things, and unfortunately have not heard anything yet. So anyway, just want to talk about that a little bit. I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts down below in the comments. We're going to try things out. We're going to do what we can. We'll be streaming a lot, so feel free to check those out. The support always means a lot from you guys. So let me know what you guys think. But those are kind of my thoughts right now. I feel like I've been as optimistic as I can be, as kind of reasonable and like business minded as I can be. And they're really making it hard to keep that up. And I'm at the point where I'm just like, I think that's it. I don't think anything else is going to change. I don't think they're going to communicate more. Again, I hope to be wrong. I know they watch my videos because I even the guy I talked to was like, we do see your videos a lot of times. So not saying they all do, but I hope that somebody over there is watching who has some pull, and at the very least can just communicate with us. Over communication right now would be the one saving grace that would at least help in this process. But silence to me is really, really rough. So anyway, just wanted to share that. Just kind of woke up and felt like I needed to be a little bit more honest about where I'm at. Again, there's a lot more we're going to get into, so stay tuned, but that's where I'm at right now. So appreciate you guys. And as always, we'll see you in a future video.